Hello and welcome back to the Schooner Pod. I'm Bobby Howard. With me today, as always, we've got Jameson Maxwell and Ty Lee. And folks, it's game week, baby. It is time. Friday night, it's going down. The season is starting. We've been talking about this for a long time. Not just this in season in particular, but the changes with the college football playoff, the SEC move, all of it. It starts Friday. Talking's over. We're going to get down to it. And guys, there's a lot to be excited about. And normally, whenever we do a preview podcast, we preview like the game a bit. There's not a lot to talk about with Temple. So this is kind of going to be more of an overall OU, just kind of weekly show. But what we did get, we got a that juicy Brent Venables depth chart. A bunch of oars on there as usual. But I don't know. There's still like some big stuff to glean from that, right, Jameson?
Yeah, I mean, where you don't see oars, where you thought you would see oars, that means something even more, right, Bobby? Because, for example, Jane Jackson at defensive tackle. We thought that this was a possibility for sure, but, I could still see some hedging. He straight up put Jane Jackson, right up at the beginning. So that's like super impressive that a guy that is a true freshman coming in can go ahead and just nab the defensive tackle spot straight up. Really, really impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we say all the time, talking about D linemen, that it's a position you have to kind of grow into. It's one that is just very rare to have a freshman come in and start. I believe he's the first OU freshman to start at defensive tackle since Tommy Harris in the early 2000s, which is just big time. So definitely a shocking move, but an exciting one to say the least. You've heard nothing but good things about the guy. And at least to start the season, looks like he's going to get a lot of burn. So getting the start, unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like I say it every pod, or we say it, someone says it every pod, but D-line's what Venables' defenses were known for over at Clemson, obviously, among other things. But really exciting to see, again, when we talk about something, as we get into the oars and lack of oars and everything else, something very definitive on a position that Venables is known to put his stamp on is super, super exciting, especially when you talk about someone that's that young and with that high of a ceiling and that much potential. That's something to be excited about now, but that's something that, we're going to be on this pod in a year, 2 years down the road talking about, hey, remember when we never saw a snap and we kind of knew something was up. So, we didn't know something was up. They just straight up told us, but it's proprietary analysis here.
Yeah, I think the next big thing that everyone's been kind of looking at is the offensive line is kind of shaped into form what it was kind of hypothesized to be. Tarquin at left tackle and Sexton at left guard is solidified. That's happening. Hickman has made himself the center. All the Josh Bates kind of, hype. I get it, but, it seems like Hickman is that dude at center. Fabechiwi was always going to be a right guard. And then Jake Taylor's been hurt. So that's the reality of if he hadn't been, hurt these past couple weeks, I guarantee you won't see a right tackle or next to Jake Taylor's name for Spencer Brown. But there's probably a chance that a lot of these oars on the depth chart are kind of hedges because there might be some guys not being able to go on Friday. And, Jake Taylor's on the questionable risk right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably it. And I mean, oars, that's the definition of hedging right there. You kind of need to have a little bit of mystery. So I get that. But yeah, Taylor definitely seems like an oar there because of the injury situation.
Yeah, I don't see how Spencer Brown, from what we've heard about his hype, winning that right tackle job. If Jake Taylor's healthy, he's going to be out there. And if he's not out there, assume he's probably not playing.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that stuck out to me a bit is Brennan Thompson getting kind of high up there as well. Thompson or Nick Anderson.
Yeah.
Anderson is dealing with injury, I believe.
Another injury thing. That's another injury thing. So you see Brennan Thompson's name above Nick Anderson. Nick Anderson, a guy who's been dealing with injury for a lot of this offseason. It's like a very, very large percentage of this offseason. So it's like how much is that like an injury hedge here? I think there's a pretty big injury hedge. Look at the left cornerback on the roster too, Kenai Walker, one spot above Woody Washington. These are not going in alphabetical order, right? That's what I first thought. I was looking at. I was like, there's no pattern to this other than that's just where they put the guy's name. I don't see a reason why they're just putting one guy's name over the other. They had to pick somebody. So I think Kenai Walker's been healthy. Woody's been hurt. Jake Taylor and Spencer Brown, there's an injury situation there. Brennan Thompson, Nick Anderson. So I think there's clear reasons for those oars whenever they shouldn't have been there. If those players that were slotted in at wide receiver 1, like Nick Anderson, right tackle like Jake Taylor, and then Woody Washington at cornerback, all of those should be straight up, but they've been hurt.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of injuries, I know we're big fans of him on here. Andrew Anthony listed as behind both Nick Anderson and Brennan Thompson on that depth chart. So you get that or there for number 1, and then Andrew Anthony, I guess, slotted in at what would that be, 3 on that position, right?
Yeah, and that's a guy that he has no restrictions according to Venables right now, which, that's refreshing to hear. But at the same time, you have to proceed with caution for what he had last year, like an ACL and then most likely meniscal damage along that as well. And so he's ahead of schedule for what I would think that would be 100% of what he could be, or even 90-95% of what he was last year. So take
he
that
was
with
very good last year.
Yeah. I mean, he's now, so that happened in October last year, right? So the math is about, he's 10 months out. You can return up to is like 6 to 9 months with these kind of injuries. So he's right behind that. But, some people don't feel like they're good for another year or a year and a half. So I'm curious to see what he looks like, because whenever he'll probably start to come in around the second quarter-ish, I'd hope, if we're getting up big. And I'd be curious to see how he gets his break out of the balls and if he's got that same kind of route running that made him so good and a favorite for Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah. And I almost wonder too, and this is reading way too into the tea leaves here, but I almost wonder too if there's maybe an angle of he's been out most of the offseason and we're just going to stick with the people who we know Jackson Arnold has sort of a rhythm and an understanding and a little relationship with in the practice time a little bit more, because obviously we're looking at early on in the season, spoiler alert, quarterback battle is over. Arnold is going to be the starter. But I presume that certainly we're looking to build confidence and sort of build up to where we need him to be early on in the season as well. So I almost wonder if even if Anthony maybe is close to 100%, he might be suffering from just not getting those reps in practice just yet.
Yeah.
I think they're going to give him at least something in this game, though. A couple of things to let him show his shine, because that guy was stellar last season. You got to see what he can do in the game.
Without a doubt. And there's no experience like game experience. You can't replicate that, not properly 100%. So getting him a lot of burn in this game would be really nice. Definitely one of the guys I'm really excited to see. We've obviously done a lot of talking about Deion Burks in the like over the past offseason, and some other, guys who we think will take a leap, where Anthony, we do forget about him quite a bit from time to time, but hopefully he can make a massive impact on this team like he did for the first half of last year.
What do y'all think of Sam Franklin being on the or slot in the 3-4?
That raised an eyebrow of mine, seeing him up there. I don't know. Franklin is a guy who I kind of I'm excited about. You got that experience. He was killer where he was at last, and seeing him up there, with Taylor Tatum, a guy we've been excited about, Caleb Hicks, a guy who we've been excited about as well. Like, it's like, oh, okay, this guy could be the real deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, UT Martin, you can do just about anything there. I mean, yeah, like we just hadn't seen anything about him on any of like the sites, any of the message boards, and all of a sudden you see him going over Caleb Hicks. That just blew my mind. What happened to Caleb Hicks to push him that far down below Taylor Tatum and Sam Franklin? The guy that we thought could be like a steady force for Oklahoma is probably falling out of favor, getting a little Marcus Major treatment here.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Caleb Hicks, at least, obviously, grain of salt, some of these stats, but, you're talking about he has 20 pounds on Franklin as well. So it is kind of it's hard to determine. Who knows? Obviously, infinite number of things. You guys touched on, beloved friend of the pod, Marcus Major. Hicks may have just forgotten to enroll in class. He may have forgotten that you have to be a student to play.
Forgot.
There's no proof that he is not enrolled in classes, correct?
I mean, I don't know. Has anyone looked?
When was the first day? Last week?
Yeah, it was, I believe.
Because you can just completely like ball out, not go to class for the first couple, like, was it 4 weeks, and then drop and not get a W on your transcript. He can make it the first couple games and hit is he got his red shirt still intact? Oh damn, he pulled his red shirt already.
Yeah, because he used the red shirt for last year, so
he's not going to do this.
Pull out that academic red shirt.
Yeah, I think that was an interesting thing for me. I'm curious to see, like, by the eye test, this running back room should get a lot of shine in this game, where we should be able to run all over Temple. So there's going to be guys in this running back room that I think by the eye test, you're going to be like, okay, that guy could be the number 2. I don't know if Javonte Barnes really got the number 2 locked up. Is it truly Sam Franklin? Are we going to buy too much hype into Taylor Tatum? And to be honest with you, I'm going to be a skeptic of Javonte Barnes until I see him, straight up.
I mean, as you should be. I know we've heard a lot this offseason about, he had a bad year last year, like, off the field, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, but he looks like himself again. You don't know until you get out there. And I don't really know how to feel about it. I'm intrigued to see.
I'm cheering for him because we loved him as a true freshman coming in. He showed so many things and just disappointed us last season. It's just straight up. This is not me being a hater. I just want to see with my own eyes, not the experts, not the message boards. I want to see it because I haven't seen it yet. And I know that is a super, super casual take of us being a off-season Oklahoma football podcast, because all of this is about what we've read about other people's evaluations. But it's just going to feel so nice that we can actually formulate our own opinions, and I'm not going to be regurgitating somebody else's.
Yeah, I'm very ready for that. That's going to be very fun. Okay, did you see
next week?
There we go. Just
next week on the pod, Jameson will develop object permanence.
Wow, he will believe in things. I'm becoming a big boy.
Oh God. There you go. Okay, so did we have y'all seen any more clarity about the kicking situation?
Yes, they announced it. Yeah, so it's going to be Keltner for sure on kicks, and then on kickoff it's going to be Schmidt. But there's a fine line of, like, Keltner screws up, Schmidt's probably coming in. It seems like Keltner has just kind of stumbled his way through this kicking competition. He's been the definition of mid. He still won the job being extremely average, which tells you something about Schmidt. But I think I heard, on Sooner Scoop this last week, saying that Schmidt hit over 90% of his kicks in practice. I don't care how much you can make in practice. I don't care. He's already shown that he isn't making them in game, so therefore Keltner is going to get the first kicks, and I applaud the coaching staff for making that decision.
Right, I do have to.
Go ahead, Ty. You got it. Oh
no, you can finish, Bobby.
I was just gonna say I did find it interesting that Brent was like, "Yeah, no, we're on a clear slate. It's we're not judging Schmidt for what he did in the past." And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't believe that, because if he is as good as practice reports have said he is, then he probably should be his job. But also, we know better. We know better that he probably isn't a game type of guy to kick it through. So I'm excited about Keltner. I think that'll be a good move to get someone new in there.
I was just going to say important context on Keltner, obviously, because it's weird when you get a transfer kicker in. One thing we did see this weekend from Florida State that was very impressive was their kicker, Ryan Fitzgerald. Good. Yeah, looked league ready, hitting 60-yarders in weather. So I don't blame Keltner at all for transferring, and he very much could be significantly a step forward for OU in the kicking game, even if he is not at the level of just the stellar kicker at Florida State right now. So probably the one thing they have to hang on to at this point to be proud of. So I'm not as worried about Keltner. Had we gone out and seen something pretty sketch from Florida State's kicker this weekend, might be a little more worried.
Now, what do you think the OU fan, the common OU fan, not just like the people who've been reading these message boards, the common OU fan who maybe didn't know that Tyler Keltner is now the new kicker until they see him kick, how quick are they going to start calling for his head? How many kicks can he miss until the OU fan base wants someone else to come in?
Because it's going to be one.
Zach Schmidt, it didn't take too long. But, if he misses one in this game, say if he misses a 42-yarder, are we going to start, if he comes out and kicks again, are you going to hear some boo birds?
I mean, maybe not boo birds. And I think
some mutters,
hopefully,
some mutters.
I mean, oh God, I mean, hopefully, we're not booing our kicker game one against Temple. Like, I know you fans could be on edge sometimes, but my God.
There's probably a bigger problem there if we're in that situation.
I mean, let's just be realistic, guys. Like, y'all know this fan base. We're a part of the problem. If Keltner misses a kick, there's a non-0% chance that there's going to be a lot of commotion in the crowd right after that, and they're going to want to try someone else. And here's the thing: I don't know if they know what's behind door number 2. They got to realize, door number two is Zach Schmidt. Everyone's got to remember that. And I don't want to be a huge hater on Zach Schmidt, but it's just like, I'm sorry, I don't want to play with the old toy anymore.
Right. Just
like, I already know it's like what it's done, and I would like to try something else.
Yeah. Just look at the, missed field goal in Bedlam last year. If you need a reminder of what, what kicking can get you.
I would argue that if we're kicking field goals at all against Temple, I'm going to be on this pod booing. So that's why I answered 0 for if there's anyone in the comments go, he said 0. That doesn't make sense. If he trots out on the field to kick a field goal against Temple, I'm going to be demanding Brent Venables is fired.
Yeah, 4th and 1. It's going to be like a 40-yard field goal, and they're going to bring out the kicker. And man, I know people are going to get angry. It's like drive 1 or 2. All we want to do is cover the spread.
If we kick drive 1 legitimately, I don't even know. I might not appear on the pod ever again.
Oh God,
I might renounce my fandom if we have to kick drive 1 against Temple. It's that's going to be a dark day.
I cannot imagine the frustration immediately because we've seen it like before.
We've punted a lot on drive 1s of these games. I feel like it's happened a lot.
Didn't Levy get booed last year after drive 1?
This is not a hedge either.
Yeah,
punting is better than kicking a field goal.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with that at all.
A turnover, I will be overjoyed to see a turnover compared to kicking a field goal in the opening drive against Temple.
I'm down to just be aggressive no matter what. If it's 4th and 5 and we're on like the 34-yard line, let's just go for it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Maybe don't just run Jackson Arnold right into the middle of the defense like you did last year. But
I guarantee you that this first drive, we might score, but I don't think there's going to be too flashy of plays. I think it's going to be super simple. I think it's going to be just absolute babying Jackson Arnold into the flow of the game, which is a good thing, which is a really good thing. But for a guy that, in the last game that he played out on the field in front of fans, he threw a lot of interceptions. And then he's been getting some bad rap, right, in the media, even if it's not deserved. They're going to go out there and they're going to put him in position to succeed. Really, in the reality of things, you want Jackson Arnold to go out there in these kind of games and read the coverages and make the tough plays. But I think that if he goes out there and he screws up, and the coaching staff put him in a position to screw up, that's not going to be a good look. So I expect a little tiny, like little bubble routes, so maybe a jet sweep on play 1, little easy things to get his, feet wet.
Jet sweep play 1. Got to pay tribute to your roots.
It's got to be a jet sweep play 1. Where are the odds on this? We got that on ESPN Bet, DraftKings, FanDuel. Where is this?
beats me. I have no idea.
Bovada. Bovada's usually got us on these kind of things.
Mybookie.ag. Yeah, no, that'd be. I don't know how to feel about that. That it's gonna be just a little jet sweep right to Jalil Farouk, you know.
Yep, that's it. That's totally it.
Oh yeah, it will happen. I see the rage in Ty's eyes right now just thinking about that. But
jet sweep.
Talk about someone who threw interceptions in the bowl game.
Oh God. So
we are not OU haters. The reality of it is, I think that we're just going to run all over this Temple team. I think that we're just going to out physical them, and our offensive line is going to look good because Temple is a horrible team, and there's a reason that we're 40+ point, favorites here. And I think we're going to command the game, and it's going to be one of these, games that we've seen for years in the past where we get up early and then it's fun to watch that third quarter. Because we get to see the backups and these young freshmen that we've been looking forward to this whole time. Everyone goes out to the bars, but I'm sitting there like, no. This is where the good stuff is. This is what we are waiting for.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Jameson's going to get to see his young, unproven freshman quarterback, Casey Thompson.
Shut up.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's going to be like the most fun. That's the most fun part of these games, And OU does traditionally, when they play these like just really bad programs, have a way of getting out to a hot start. Last year completely decimated Arkansas State. I think Temple is on that level. I think this might be one of the worst power or just not power group of 5 programs in the country, just overall. They've lost an enormous amount of people in the portal. They're just kind of like cobbled together. It's really not good. I'm pretty sure their quarterback transferred to Rice. So when you're getting poached by Rice, I mean that's not good.
Well, Bobby, what did Forrest Brock, their quarterback, do to you in college football 25?
Well, we don't need to talk about that.
And their tight end Landon Morris.
It took me 10 times to beat them on day one, but we figured it out.
They were a pretty damn good team. They put up a fight in college football.
In that game, yeah, but I think in real life, they're clearly not that team. They're not that guy.
I don't know. We said this same thing about Nevada last week, and we were a little bit nervous about saying, damn, they're actually kind of good in the video game. But yeah, they're not good in real life, right? We got to start looking at the video game here, guys.
Look, I would like to hope that OU does not have the issues that SMU had. I think surely OU is good enough to just do some solid meat and potatoes football, just drive down the field, score a ton of points, control the ball. I think OU. I don't know. We'll get to covering when we talk on the weekend spread or not, because 43 is a lot. But
the hedge has begun.
This team's going to be damn good. I think I have no concerns about this game from a win-loss perspective.
Thank you, Ty. You got a reply to that one
in case it needed to be made clear.
Onto the defense.
I can change the topic here because I want to bring this up because
I don't know what thoughts I have on whether or not we're going to win or not.
Because simple as wins and losses.
I would like to tease that line up to 50 on my end.
This is, it's just week 1, Bobby. We just got to get a win this week, and the next week it's just going to be another week. We're going to go 1-0 every single week. Keep on stacking wins.
Okay, Dignault.
I heard Grayson Halton use about 4 or 5 of those in a row, and I said, "All right, Grayson, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to go down a little thing. Like in the 2K option where they give you the choice of what to respond." In the interview, where if you click the wrong one, it's like minus fans. So whenever Grayson Halton said the generic coach speak, and I was like minus fans.
Yeah, you're not being. You gotta steer away from the Prestyism here and there. So I get that.
I get it. But let's talk. If you guys had to name one X factor, just specifically, maybe not for just this game, but for like the season, who would y'all have? And I already kind of hinted mine in a past pod, but I'll just kind of start. go back. I really think it's our Mason Thomas for me. He's a solidified number one at the right side of defensive end. That's coming off the edge, hitting the blind spot against the left tackle and trying to get sacks. If this defense wants to go to the next level, it's going to be via a defensive end making a step to the next level that we weren't there last year. We had an embarrassing amount of sacks from defensive ends last year, and someone needs to step up. And I think that side opposite of Ethan Downs, there's got to be someone, whether that be R. Mason Thomas, PJ Adebaware, Caden Woolard. Someone has to be that guy, and I'm betting in on R. Mason Thomas to finally take that jump.
I'll go ahead and take it because I have one similar to Jameson. I'm just going to bring it back towards the center, though. I have Dominic Williams. I think, again, the D-line is going to be the X factor. We talk about this so much, and it seems like we do recycle these talking points, at least in my mind, year over year. But we know what we're going to get from the linebackers. We know it's going to be great. We know what we should be able to expect from the secondary and everything else. And the D-line has never been just unbelievably atrocious, but it's that piece that's going to take us to the next level. We have those pieces here, like Jameson just said. I think it's a lot of the same talking points, obviously just not off the edge with R. Mason Thomas, but I think our nose guard just controlling the center and being able to close down, especially when we get into this grind, the SEC, much more air, much more pass heavy. It's not 2010 anymore, but having an experienced nose guard who's going to come in, hopefully take some leadership on this team, and then just not get pushed around. I think it's going to make things a lot easier if our nose is not just getting pushed into these wide open gaps on every play. Take away that option, have just a much more solid base that then the guys on the edge can work on getting around and getting in and blowing up plays and stuff like that. And at this point, I'm just kind of rambling on the basics of D-line. But I like Williams a lot as sort of my X factor.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good X factor because I feel like Williams can be that anchor to really, take a unit that was like kind of good, had its flaws into a great piece of the defense, and I'm gonna say something, and it might be cheating a little bit here. I'm gonna go with the entire offensive line.
Oh,
is that lame? Maybe.
That is so lame.
If you're listening and you're wondering why,
5 players of the 11 on offense do well, fair. We're gonna do.
They receive a group award. They're eligible for a group individual award. So,
well, in that case, I'll just go Branson why, Hickman, Bobby. Then. I don't know. You can't really pick one. You can't really pick one.
Now that's it.
It really is, though, Jackson Arnold, though.
Yeah,
we want to be real. We want to be. It's boring and obvious. Oh yeah, a starting quarterback is really important. What groundbreaking, revelation. But it is Jackson Arnold. He doesn't. I think the defense being where it is really helps him out because he doesn't need to be Superman. He doesn't need to be, an OU quarterback of the past like that we've seen. He just needs to make sharp decisions, not turn the ball over. And, I think that's going to be, absolutely the factor. Game control is going to be huge. I think the ability to move the ball down the field, not get quick little 3 and outs, that was one of the biggest problems with OU last year that I don't think we talk about enough, is that the defense was just getting run ragged because, the offense couldn't take up any time. That's kind of a drawback with the whole speed situation that we had under Levy. And, for the most part, this offense is, relatively the same. But I think from what I've seen, it's going to be a little bit more pace.
Yeah,
Jackson Arnold just needs to control
in his press conference, Bobby, that we're going to go a little bit slower.
Yeah, which is good. Which is absolutely good. So Jackson Arnold controlling the pace, not turning the ball over, and I think if he plays within himself, we're going to be a damn good football team. If he's not constantly on the ground getting hammered like it's the EA Sports, trailer from earlier, got sacked 4 times in that one trailer. If that happens, we might be screwed. But no, I think Arnold's the X factor here by far, which is again not shocking, but so important.
Yeah, Bobby, what did you think about the announcements to the stadium and kind of the game day experience updates that they put forward?
Yeah, for sure. So OU did unveil a couple fan experience things. Some of it's big, some that we have kind of seen a little bit of. The Crimson Friday concert series. That's like fine. I'm pretty sure talked ad nauseum about the tailgating expansion, and I don't want to start tie on that. But no, I think the little the boost of Party at the Palace sounds nice to me. I feel like that's been lacking here and there in recent years. So adding in a couple video boards to watch the games, that's pretty neat. I'm about it. But I think overall, like just in terms of in-game experience stuff, a talking point for years has been the fourth quarter break, like what song to play there. And looks like we are kind of close to having an answer because it's going to be a Toby Keith tribute. So
is that going to be every game or just this opening game?
I think it's every game.
That's a good idea.
It's tricky because
well, you've got to try it, right? If it flops, I'm sure they could pivot, right?
Right. I mean, surely it's you just have to find the right song. I don't know if there is one. Because I think Red Solo Cup would be awful. Like that, Red Solo Cup would be bad. I don't properly know if there is a sing along song that really, really works all the way. Because there are moments that work, But Jameson? Do you know the full lyrics to "How Do You Like Me Now"? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I know
the chorus. Go ahead, Ty.
I do like the idea that they keep it a game time decision. And they'll just hand out, like, if winning, read this one. If losing, read this one. And they just have, "How do you like me now?" or "I ain't as good as I once was." And you choose which one is
then
most
your fans into further depression.
Well, it's about that would be probably. I mean, outside of "Should Have Been a Cowboy," that would be just as bad because it's almost like.
Yeah, that would maybe be the worst option.
We regret going to the SEC.
We are a program in decay. Colin Cowherd was right. No, so I'm intrigued to see how they do that. It should be fun. But got a couple concession updates that they're bringing in Dickie's Barbecue. So poor Rib Crib is in shambles.
Not already there?
No, it was Rib Crib. Remember?
I guess it was. I feel like Dickie's Barbecue is in like every single stadium, like nationwide.
Yeah, it's not great.
Monopolies.
Mediocre barbecue monopoly.
Oh,
and they're also throwing in Kung Pao chicken wings. So
there we go.
No, he's teasing you. He's leading up. There is, Bobby, you know it. Read the full list. There's an obvious addition to the concessions that Jameson is very, very excited about.
Loaded foot-long hot dogs.
Foot-long hot dogs. And then whoever wrote this, for some reason, didn't include a comma. So it says loaded foot-long hot dogs and a selection of wine, implying that they are one thing.
Now,
package deal.
You talk Fruity Pebble Pickles, you talk about foot-long hot dogs and wine. Now, we got good combinations here.
Oh, jeez. What a mess.
Never
TBD, whenever we talk about OU Texas going to their Big Texas most sweet, I think, winner this year, Bobby, was a pickle. So get ready, baby.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know, because the thing is the Fruity Pebble Pickle declaration last year might have helped OU win.
What did?
Would they have won without it? Maybe.
Yes, through Blake and I's belief in the program, unlike other people on this podcast.
Could you imagine if all of us came together in unity on a Fruity Pebble Pickle, what the OU team could have done last year? But no, that never happened.
Oh my God, we would have won the national title.
So there's an option this year, Bobby, to redeem yourself. This is just a preview for OU Texas weekend.
Bobby said,
maybe
if OU wins this game, I will be so excited. I will immediately leave the stadium and take a Fruity Pebble pickle straight to the dome. And he didn't even make an attempt to get a Fruity Pebble. Oh, the line was long. The line was long. Yeah, it's the state fair. Anyways.
Yeah, I know.
We can move on from that. Yes, grab and goes, a little bit of extra food. You know what food item I really liked last year that they added? That little it was like a Korean fried chicken and noodle place.
The Goji Go?
Yeah. Or
it wasn't Goji
Goju
Go.
Go's in Midtown.
Yeah, no. It's not Goji Go. Because
like it's something in a cup.
It was
something
Cup Bop. Cup Bop.
Yes. So whatever that was is great. And they won my heart whenever it was, I think, game 1, and they had leftovers. And the legitimate worker came into the stands and said, I have free extras. And I was like, yes. I was moving across. So it's actually a really good spot. They're in the upper deck. I don't know if they're in the bottom deck, but I was really enjoying their stuff.
That's pretty clutch right there. That's a good deal.
Give out free food and you win my heart.
Love that. That's all the real food stuff. I do love the grab and go kiosks. That is a game changer for sure. I'm pumped about that. They have them at Paycom Center. We've seen it at TCU that one time. We don't need to talk about the game.
I love the grab and goes.
Oh yeah, big grab and go guy. I love that. All right, Jameson, do we want to pivot to a little bit of Cruton Corner before we wrap up here?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right, sounds good.
Jamison.
Yes.
What is this? Jamison.
This is a
Cruton Corner with Jamison.
everybody dancing. Oh, that's nice.
It's been a little bit. And here's the thing. You guys got to get excited about OU recruiting. This wouldn't be an OU recruiting podcast if we didn't talk about Michael Fasusi. I'm not going to say the same talking points. Oh, Bill Beatonbow's birthday gift. No, all I'm going to say is it was super, super cool to finally close the door on a big-time recruit and not getting nabbed from us right at the end. I don't know about y'all. Even with all of these crystal balls coming in, I still had this inkling inside of me saying, I don't know what could happen. If Texas A&M is in this recruiting battle, even if they were number 3, I'm going to be a little bit worried. But it seems like Fasusi, it's like he's the type of guy and his family's the type of guy to fall in love with the Brent Venables culture. And that's what you hit with this. His parents fell in love, and that's what solidified, the love of, the kid and how much he likes our program mixed with like his parents love it. That's right there and what we wanted to be. And it doesn't hurt at all that we're, 2 tackles in a row now going into the NFL draft. And then, what they are doing in the preseason as well. Like Tyler Guyton's killing it for the Cowboys. Just a perfect storm and combination of finally getting a tackle in this class to really give Bill Beatonbow some respect on who he is as a recruiter.
I mean, absolutely. It's a massive, massive win. And, it was funny seeing some Texas people being like, oh, Bill Beatonbow can't, he can only do this with like 3 and 4 stars. He can't develop a 5-star. I'm like, okay.
Bray Walker.
All right. Cope with it. Whatever.
Bray Walker, Exhibit A. Sorry. He failed us.
I mean, there are a couple times that there are misfires, but I don't think it's
that's just all big men. Like big men, some flop. Like you've got to like be able to move your feet and learn the system. And Bill Beatonbow's system is, it doesn't, lend its hand to everybody. So, it's going to not work in some people.
Right. And I think he is really good at like, if your footwork and technique is good, we can put weight on you and get you out there. That's fine. Like that's probably a big part of it. But I getting a massive 5-star like that, that's huge.
Yeah. And Bray Walker was a mountainous human. He was like, 6'7" or something. He was big. Fasusi, he's just kind of like the prototypical offensive tackle at the 6'5", and he's got good feet. Whenever you watch his tape, like you can tell he's a pure athlete. This is what these kind of guys are, who are these 5-star offensive tackles. They're absolute pure athletes. They could go out there and you could put them at wide receiver in high school football and they'd still be making plays. That would never happen in Texas high school football for them. But I mean, like these are these type of guys, and it's super refreshing to see us close the door here, but it's not going to be over. It's still August. We still got a little bit, to keep on recruiting and moving forward. And I think what everyone is excited about is like what's next with this recruiting class of the offensive line position. Some people are citing like, can we get Babaloa in the boat too with all of this? I think that we'd be pretty darn happy if we ended this class with Fasusi and Fudge for, two of the best tackles in the nation. Fudge, a guy that a lot of OU recruiting sites and experts believe is underranked. And that's including talking about this guy being top 50 according to On3. So I think we're very happy with what we get. But Babaloa, if he doesn't want to go to Michigan or Stanford, that would be an absolute stellar drop dead. This is already probably the best offensive line class we've gotten in a long time. This would be something you could probably not top. I would not say that Babaloa is likely to come into this class just from what all of the tea leaves read. But it's still something fun to look forward to and look at.
For sure. No, I mean, the lines, that's how you win in the SEC is at the line of scrimmage, of course.
Yep.
Everyone knows that. So getting a massive haul year one, that'd be pretty great.
And if you're an offensive tackle right now, like Michael Fasusi, like why would not you want to come to this team? It legitimately, in my mind, if I'm treating this like I was a recruit, and it's not having anything to do with my OU fandom, I'm a left tackle. I think that I can go out there and play early. The OU at the left tackle position is absolutely wide open. How many colleges that play at the level of OU's ability have that open of a left tackle position? We just saw our depth chart go out there. Dude, it's left tackle, Michael Tarquin, and he's going to be gone next year. And then Logan Howland is right behind him, who's been a developmental project, who hasn't really shown anything yet. And I mean, people have high hopes for him, but like this is a position where if something crazy happens and Fasusi goes out there and plays like what Jaden Jackson did as a true freshman, who could Fasusi be a guy to come and play as a true freshman? I wouldn't put it past him.
I mean, there's opportunity, and it's that perfect intersection of having as much opportunity as possible and also getting the best instruction as possible, which is pretty damn good. I mean, we've seen that being able to play young players, look at Caden Green last year. He got
Anton Harrison did it. This is exactly, could this be an Anton Harrison situation? Anton Harrison was not nearly as highly sought after as Fasusi is. So,
yep, absolutely. It's a really big, really good sell. So, good stuff. Any more recruiting before we wrap this show up?
No, this class is really coming into form, guys. We have 23 commits. So you're getting to the point where it's like just kind of bits and pieces here and there to kind of finish out this class. So Fasusi was the big one. And to be honest with you, let's just kind of see if there's anything else that kind of falls into our lap.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Jameson. Much appreciated Cruton Corner trip. Look, before we wrap up, a couple rapid fire questions I have. Just really one. Are they going to wear the Unity uniforms for this one? Because if you look at like the whole scope of the schedule, this is kind of the best opportunity, and they ran promo last week where they're wearing them. I'm just saying,
no way.
Well, where do you think they'll wear them? Like, who do you think they'll wear them against?
I don't know. I defer to Unity expert Ty on that one. I'm just not going to be this one.
Yeah, I don't think I could see him wearing the first game. I mean, maybe like Houston because it's at night.
But Houston is the throwback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you're stuck with day games or SEC games, and I hate the idea of wearing.
South Carolina makes a lot of sense, I think.
But that's also a day game.
So be it.
Yeah, but it's not. They're not exclusively like nighttime stuff. Like certainly we're not going to wear them against Alabama, but
please don't. Just
I don't know.
Just
it's so bad.
Please.
Just not Bama, but
I don't know. I mean, it's like, are you setting us up for something like obvious here, Bobby?
No,
they're not going to come out in the Unity's game one, Bobby. I can almost put that as a 0% chance. There's just no way.
Do you want to bet a Fruity Pebble Pickle on it?
Yes, I would. I would love to bet a Fruity Pebble Pickle on this. If they come out in Unity's game 1, I'm going to be floored. I don't care about the promos. I don't care about that. I don't know if you have any kind of inside source here, but if they decide to make that, it's a bad decision. You come out in your regular reds. You come out crimson.
Well, it'd be wild because the first 2 games would be out in alts, so you wouldn't see normal OU until week 3.
Stupid. It'd be so stupid.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Are you actually betting me a Fruity Pebble pickle on it?
No.
Ty, he said it. You
gotta say
it.
no. I asked you, and I was floating the idea.
Is Bobby's setting is like? I feel like the real trick question here is not: are we going to wear them the home game? Maybe the real the wildest move, right? Like the wildest possible move is wearing them at LSU.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wear them Saturday night in Death Valley because LSU wears white at home. Oh, that would be something.
I mean, that might.
I think that would also be a terrible mistake to just
I think they might do that. That might
actually
be the answer.
That'd actually be sick as hell. I'm not gonna lie.
You can't wear an alt though with that much brand exposure. I just don't.
I know. I disagree. I don't think we should be wearing it. You guys know my thoughts on the alternative uniforms.
Right. I kind of think they should be removed from the rotation. The Unities. I don't love them that much.
You should have one, and you wear one a season.
Yeah, and I know that I don't think we'll see the throwbacks ever again. I think it's just a one-off for the 100th year anniversary.
They're not really
that.
Yeah, they're not that sellable. Is the issue?
Yeah.
Like they're literally just a red jersey with a number on it.
Yeah, I like the stripes a little bit, but no. So okay, I said questions. It's really just kind of 2 questions. So 6 p.m. game on a Friday. Now that it's game week, how are we feeling about it? Like, what's everyone's plans looking like? I know, Jameson, for you, it's a lot easier. For Ty, it's borderline sadistic having the kickoff.
4 o'clock kick for you, Ty?
Yeah, it kicks off at 4 o'clock. Like kickoff is at 4 o'clock. So I'm not really sure still sort of what my logistics of that day are going to be to make it back for the game, but I'll have to figure something out.
Watch the first half in your car, drive home at halftime.
That's sad.
That's what you got to do. That's what I would do. That's legitimately what I would do.
There you go.
The times whenever I worked on days where there's I worked on Saturdays this last season and there's no U game. I don't work a single Saturday this football season. I am over the moon. But I would legitimately sit in my car and wait for halftime, and then I'd zoom home. You gotta do what you gotta do. It's legitimately like whenever the driving crooner, and I think you should leave. Like no.
I'm gonna kill you, driving crooner. Actually, we can do that with the overlay. We should do that with the overlay sometime. Just put like a hat and a cigar or whatever.
I really hope you guys can hear that.
That's great. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm intrigued about it. Got the day off. We're gonna be tailgating. Looks like it might be a little rainy, a little overcast action. Like 70, 80 degrees. I mean, I'm about it. So we'll see how it goes. All right. That is all we have here for the Schooner Pod Temple kind of preview. We'll be back soon to talk, to make our picks in the weekend spread. That episode will go live on Tuesday evening. It'll be pre-recorded though. So, so you can have that to look forward to. We're just getting all of this early as possible. So we'll see you on Tuesday for the weekend spread. And after that, we'll be recapping this game at some point. Labor Day's weird. But excited to talk about some football. So, all right, for me, Jameson and Ty, this has been the Schooner Pod. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Boomer Sooner, everybody.
Tease down, beat Temple.